Prime Minister Narendra Modi holds bilateral meet with his Sri Lankan counterpart Mahinda Rajapaksa. Calls bilateral ties multifaceted. Prime Minister says Sri Lanka will be given special and highest priority under Neighbourhood First policy. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address general debate in the 75th session of General Assembly this evening. Prime Minister's expected to focus on India's priorities as a member of Security Council during 2021-22 and promotion of global action against terrorism. Indian mission to UN denounces Pakistan for state sponsor of terrorism and genocide, reiterates Jammu and Kashmir an integral and inalienable part of India, calls on Pakistan to vacate all illegal occupation as India exercises its right of reply at the UN. Prime Minister greets on CSIR 79 Foundation Day, lauds CSIR's role in the pandemic and hails the organisation for being at the forefront of advancement of scientific research and innovation in India. India records more than 4 lakh teleconsultations on e-Sanjeevani platform. Tamil Nadu and Uttar Pradesh cross 1 lakh teleconsultations each. More than 18 states have utilized the mobile app to provide medical care to people. Last rites of legendary playback singer S.P. Balasubramaniam held with state honours in Chennai today. Leaders across political spectrum pay homage to the music legend. Iconic singer he won 6 national awards and many Filmfare awards among others. Recipient of Padma Shri and Padma Bhushan. Good afternoon and welcome to this bulletin. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. A virtual bilateral summit was held today between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his Sri Lankan counterpart Mahinda Rajapaksa. The summit was Prime Minister Modi's first such virtual engagement with a neighbouring country, and also Sri Lankan Prime Minister's first diplomatic engagement with the leader of a foreign country after he was sworn in as Prime Minister in August. PM Modi congratulated Sri Lankan Prime Minister for his recent victory. PM Modi said relations between India and Sri Lanka are thousands of years old, calling India-Sri Lankan ties multifaceted. He also said under Neighbourhood First policy, India gives Sri Lanka special and highest priority.
भारत और श्रीलंका के बहुमुखी संबंध हजारों साल पुराने हैं। मेरी सरकार की नेबरहुड फर्स्ट नीति और सागर डॉक्ट्रिन के तहत श्रीलंका से संबंधों को हम विशेष और उच्च प्राथमिकता देते हैं। भारत और श्रीलंका बिम्स्टेक, IORA, सार्क मंचों पर भी घनिष्ठ सहयोग करते हैं। आपकी पार्टी की हाल ही की जीत के बाद भारत और श्रीलंका संबंधों में एक नए ऐतिहासिक अध्याय को जोड़ने का बहुत अच्छा अवसर बना है।
And Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address the general debate at the 75th UN session of General Assembly this evening. Prime Minister's address is expected to focus on India's priorities as member of the Security Council during 2021-22 and promotion of global action against terrorism. To promote strengthening of global action on counter-terrorism, India will push for more transparency in the process of listing and delisting of entities and individuals in Sanctions Committee. Being one of the largest troop-contributing country, India will seek to engage intensively in the finalizing of mandates for UN peacekeeping mission. Prime Minister is also expected to focus on the issues that India will focus on during its stint as a non-permanent member of the Security Council for 2 years, beginning January 1st, 2021. This includes the 5S approach of Samman, that is respect, Samvad, that is dialogue, Sahyog or cooperation, Shanti, that is peace, and Samriddhi or prosperity. India will also focus on inclusive and responsible solution for global peace and security, an effective response to international terrorism norms, or the new orientation for a reformed multilateral system, technology for all, streamlining of UN peacekeeping operations. PM Modi's address will be in the form of a video statement broadcast at the General Assembly Hall in New York, since most of the events are being held virtually against the backdrop of the COVID-19 pandemic. And earlier, India promptly responded to Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan's statement on the Kashmir issue in 75th session of United Nations General Assembly, exercised its right to reply in response to Pakistan. Indian delegate and first secretary in the Indian mission in New York, Mijito Vinito, has presented India's stand at the UN. In a strongly worded reply, India said, "The Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir is an integral and inalienable part of India. While the rules and legislation brought in Union Territory are strictly India's internal matter, the First Secretary also said that the only way for Pakistan to become a normal country is to abjure its moral, financial and material support to terrorism." Earlier on Friday, Indian delegate at General Assembly Hall walked out when Prime Minister Imran Khan of Pakistan started his usual diatribe about India.
The words used today at this great assembly by the leader of Pakistan demean the very essence of the United Nations. Let me assert here loud and clear. The Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir is an integral and inalienable part of India. The rules and legislations brought in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir are strictly internal affairs of India. The only way for Pakistan to become a normal country is to abjure its moral, financial and material support to terrorism, turn its attention to the problems faced by its own population, including its minorities, and stop misusing UN platforms to further its nefarious agenda.
Some other news now. Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, CSIR, is celebrating its 79th Foundation Day today. Prime Minister Modi extended greetings to all those associated with CSIR on its Foundation Day. Prime Minister in a message said, I quote, "CSIR is at the forefront of furthering scientific research and innovation in India. They've also been playing a valuable role in fighting COVID-19. Best wishes to CSIR for its future endeavors." This message by Prime Minister for CSIR. Addressing an event to celebrate the Foundation Day of ICMR, Union Health and Family Welfare Minister Dr. Harshvardhan lauded the organization's role during the COVID-19 pandemic. Health Minister said that the organization has come up with quick and innovative solutions to fight the battle against COVID-19, while he also informed that over 10 lakh PPE kits have been manufactured in India in a single day.
Today we have these almost over 10 lakh kits manufactured in a day in India. That's the level of our potential. So there is in every field. We all remember PPEs. There used to be a lot of hue and cry about the PPEs. We were importing all of them. Now we have 110 manufacturers in the country. We are producing more than 5 lakhs per day.
The Health Minister also hailed the clarion call of Prime Minister Modi to make India self-reliant and develop Atmanirbhar Bharat for future. He encouraged scientific community to take inspiration from it, while also appreciating India's position as an export nation of several things, including HCQ, to fight the pandemic.
The latest appeal of the Prime Minister about developing an Atmanirbhar Bharat, I think that is a great inspiration to all of us. At least I feel that the scientific community can take a lot from that. And the experience of having worked during COVID and having been able to successfully change the situation from a situation where we are importing everything to a situation we are now exporting everything. in a position to export. Exported hydroxychloroquine to over 140 countries.
The Health Minister talking about the role of the institution in fighting against COVID-19. Moving on, the mortal remains of legendary playback singer Padma awardee S.P. Balasubramaniam, popularly known as SPB, were laid to rest with full state honours at his farmhouse in Red Hills on the outskirts of Chennai. This morning, the singer's body was initially taken to his residence in Nugambakam yesterday to allow the public and other people from different walks of life to pay their respects. Government ministers from Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, political and film personalities also turned up to pay their respects. In deference to the family's wishes, public, including his fans who turned up in large numbers, were allowed to offer their homage for a couple of hours. To the accompaniment of music by a police band and a 24-gun salute, his son SPB Charan carried out last rites in the presence of family members that included his wife and daughter, relatives and close associates. The legendary singer passed away on Friday after undergoing treatment for nearly a couple of months. The noted singer was put on life support measures since August 14 due to COVID-19 pneumonia. He tested negative for COVID-19 on September 4th but suffered a sudden cardiorespiratory arrest and passed away last evening. A virtual bilateral summit was held today between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his Sri Lankan counterpart Mahinda Rajapaksa. Summit was Prime Minister Modi's first such virtual engagement with a neighbouring country and also Sri Lankan Prime Minister's first diplomatic engagement with the leader of a foreign country after he was sworn in as Prime Minister in August. And Prime Minister Modi congratulated Sri Lankan Prime Minister for his recent victory. PM Modi said the relations between India and Sri Lanka are thousands of years old, calling India-Sri Lanka ties multifaceted. He also said under Neighbourhood First policy, India gives Sri Lanka special and highest priority. And my colleague Abhishek Jha is joining us with more updates on this important bilateral meet. Abhishek, crucial virtual bilateral summit between India and Sri Lanka, both leaders addressing the summit. Tell us more about the expectations from this summit. Abhishek.
So, Shubhendu, this is one of the most awaited summit level bilateral talk that we can see because ever since the Rajapaksa government has come back in a strong majority in Sri Lanka, the political dynamics have shifted a little bit there. His brother is also Gotabaya Rajapaksa, he is the president there. So it is in interest of India to have a better and cordial relationship with Sri Lanka and to iron out the differences, whatever it has had in the past, and to make a more progressive and dynamic approach with a new leadership. We know that in India also we have a very stable political scenario, and with both the country having a political stability, this is in a way, this dialogue will in a way pave a path for future and long-term strategic, interest which both the country can identify with. And this talk, today's summit level talk, is a step in that direction, where Prime Minister not only said and enumerated how Sri Lanka and India have had a very strong and traditional and millennium-old ties in terms of cultural and people-to-people connect or political or economic interdependence also. And it is interest in of both the countries to have a better relation going forward.
Right. Abhishek, also both the leaders in their respective address spoke about how they gave a certain priority to the neighbor, whether it's Sri Lanka talking about India or India talking about Sri Lanka. So such are the warm relations. What are the implications for the region as a whole when we talk about Indo-Pacific region? This partnership, what does it mean for the region?
So, Shubhendu, as Indian stature at the global platform increases both in terms of size and scale of economy and strategic and defense interest of India has also increased over the years. So India needs to redefine and realign its friends and allies in the Indian Ocean region. We see that as far as Seychelles and Mauritius, India's strategic interest extends to that long in maritime security, if we talk about, and Sri Lanka being just in the neighborhood requires to be a very good friend of India. so that India doesn't have to worry about Sri Lanka's policy in the future. And one should also acknowledge the fact that
Right.
with the kind of country India has and the global politics, if we dissect that global politics, a country of the size of India
Right, Abhishek.
in other part of the world would always try to hegemonize its neighborhood. While India has never done so, it has rather stretched its own resources in helping the neighborhood. And Prime Minister has always visioned that the development of neighborhood is always should always be associated with India's holistic development.
Absolutely,
And
there,
that is the
Abhishek.
message should, go forward.
You're right when you say India has crucial development initiatives being undertaken in Sri Lanka. Thanks, Abhishek, very much for joining us with those inputs. Moving on, investigating the death case of actor Sushant Singh Rajput, Narcotics Control Bureau (NCB) has summoned several Bollywood actors. Bollywood actress Deepika Padukone reached the NCB office. She was summoned by the agency on Wednesday. Her name surfaced in the case when her manager Karishma Prakash's WhatsApp chat was revealed. Apart from Deepika, Shraddha Kapoor is also being questioned by the NCB. The team of NCB will also question Sara Ali Khan. In addition, NCB has detained writer and producer Kshitij Ravi Prasad, who was named by arrested drug peddler Anuj Kesavani during the questioning. On 8 September, NCB arrested Riya Chakrabarti in a drug case. Moving on, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will share his thoughts with people in the country and abroad in Mann Ki Baat program on All India Radio tomorrow. This will be the 69th episode of the monthly radio program. It will be broadcast on the entire network of AIR and Doordarshan, also on AIR News website, www.newsonair.com, and News on Air mobile app as well. It will also be streamed live on the YouTube channels of AIR, DD News, PMO, and Information Broadcasting Ministry. Some COVID-19 update now from across the country. India is registering continuous increase in number of patients who've recovered from COVID-19. Over 48.49 lakh patients have recovered thus far. 93,420 people recovered in just last 24 hours. The overall recovery rate has now reached 82.14%. The constantly increasing recoveries have ensured that the actual caseload of the COVID-19 has reduced on India and currently comprises only 16.28% of total positive cases. Effective implementation of centre's strategic and graded test, track, treat approach has led to higher recoveries and lower fatality. Currently, India's case fatality rate is at 1.58%, which is one of the lowest globally. And according to Indian Council of Medical Research, during the last 24 hours, more than 13,41,000 tests have been conducted. Total sample tested so far has reached over 7 crore, 2,01,086 lab in government sector and 737 private labs. 1,823 labs are providing comprehensive testing facilities to the people. Meanwhile, India has recorded more than 4 lakh teleconsultations on e-Sanjeevani digital platform. Taking it to Twitter, Health Ministry informed that the record number of 4 lakh teleconsultations were provided across various OPDs and at Ayushman Bharat Health and Wellness Centres, while the states Tamil Nadu and Uttar Pradesh have crossed 1 lakh teleconsultations each. It also said that e-Sanjeevani has provided various essential medical services during COVID-19 pandemic to the beneficiaries while ensuring social distancing. However, more than 18 states have utilized this mobile application so far to provide medical care to people. Let us now take a look at the update on COVID-19 from across the world. Over 3.27 crore coronavirus cases have been reported worldwide, with more than 9.93 lakh casualties. As many as 2.41 crore people have recovered from the virus so far. United States continues to top the list, being the worst hit country by the pandemic so far, with highest number of COVID-19 cases. US has crossed 72 lakh mark with over 72.44 COVID-19 cases, with deaths now crossing the 2.08 lakh. In terms of the death toll, Brazil stands second on the tally with over 1.40 lakh casualties. There are more than 46.92 lakh cases of COVID-19 in Brazil itself. The World Health Organization has expressed concern over the global death toll from COVID-19 to double to 2 million before a successful vaccine is widely made available without concerted action to curb the pandemic. Emergencies Program Director Mike Ryan said, if we look at losing 1 million people in 9 months and then we just look at the realities of getting vaccine out there in the next 9 months, it's a big task for everyone involved. WHO continuing talks with China about its possible involvement in COVAX financing system designed to guarantee fast and equitable access globally to COVID-19 vaccine. WHO has warned of rates of COVID-19 infections and hospital bed occupancy are rising in Europe, where authorities need to work to halt the spread ahead of the influenza season. And with its undulating curves in steel engraving, Brazil's first memorial to COVID-19 victims is meant to preserve for eternity the names of those who passed away due to coronavirus pandemic. This was unveiled earlier this week in Rio de Janeiro, Pantanal Cemetery. The 3-ton, 39-meter steel structure has space for some 4,000 names. This is a testament to the severity of the pandemic in South American country. South America's largest country has registered more than 4.69 million cases of the virus. Over 140,000 people have died of the disease in Brazil, which ranks second after the United States in terms of coronavirus deaths. And amid the rise in COVID-19 cases across the globe, the pressure to stay open and operational has forced many restaurants to think outside of the box and come up with creative outdoor seating arrangements. In New York City's Upper West Side, Café du Soleil has taken to the forefront of the innovative problem solving with plastic bubble dining pods dubbed as space bubbles. This is to protect customers from the spread of coronavirus. Also ahead of the winter season, these arrangements will shelter diners from the cold and rain. Around 15 plastic bubbles were set up on the sidewalk next to the French restaurant, costing $400 for each of them, with the capacity to hold 6 people. The plastic tents, which take a minute to set up and take down, have become an attraction at the cafe. However, the owner believed it's a worth investment, not just for the restaurant to survive during the economic crisis, but also to give different kind of outdoor dining experience to customers. And back home, the Kharif marketing season 2020-21 for paddy rice is already scheduled to commence in all the procuring states with effect from 1st of October 2020. State procuring agencies, including FCI, are in a state of readiness for smoothly undertaking procurement operations. However, in view of the early arrival of paddy in the mandis of Haryana and Punjab, government has approved the commencement of procurement operations for paddy rice immediately in both these states from today, that is with effect from 26 September 2020, to ensure that farmers are facilitated in selling their produce at minimum support price expeditiously. Orders for commencement of procurement operations for paddy rice from 26 September 2020 in Haryana and Punjab have been issued. And with that, we conclude this bulletin. Namaskar.